Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation of Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your dearly stunning host, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by the zany Bert Rode.
What up, coconuts?
And the button lover, Josh Soroka.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing great. A beautiful Monday. Orioles got a big win.
Yeah.
If anyone was tuning in around 11 a.m. to observe that.
I was. I don't mind the 11 a.m. start.
I was able to listen to the game during my planning period at work.
Yeah, it's the 4 p.m. starts that I don't like because that's like the commute home. Where at least 11 I get to settle down at work to either watch it at work while I work, or 7 I get to go home. I just don't like 4.
I don't know if you guys are aware of the date, but today is April 15th. I was quite busy at work today. Unable to watch or listen to the game, but I did catch the highlights. I saw the Chris Davis home run. I saw Brandon Hyde get ejected. So I wish I could have watched it because it looked like a fun game.
It was, considering that it seems like every year we've got to play on this stupid Boston Day.
Yeah.
What is it, Patriot Day?
It's fun to ruin it for them.
Right.
I really enjoy every time we beat the Red Sox, the Yankees. It's extra special. Like, we go and play Tampa next, and, I want the Orioles to win. But if they lose, it just means Tampa gets a bigger lead.
Right. Tampa's clearly the best team right now.
But because I want the scenario to be where the Yankees or Red Sox miss the playoffs by a game, and we could say we did that.
Right.
If we lose to the Rays, it's still for the common good.
That's right. We're all working together to keep those evil Yankees and Red Sox out. I'll tell you what, the Red Sox, though, and we're going to get into how the Orioles looked. Red Sox looked bad, man. They looked sloppy. They had a lot of errors, base running errors, mental errors, fielding errors. They just look like a ugly team.
Well, if you've seen any of their highlights before this series, that's been the issue with them. Is a whole lot of errors and just stupid run-in and all.
Yeah. Yeah, bad bullpen work. I mean, guys not being able to throw strikes out of the bullpen. But I'm looking at the standings, and I see the Orioles in second place. Guys, who would have thought 17 games in, this is not a drill, the Orioles are in second place? You laugh, but I'm looking at the standings. Orioles are in second place.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, who would have said Dan Straley would be getting us a win today?
Yeah. I hope the American League ends up like this, with Tampa Bay and Baltimore top 2 spots in the East, Minnesota is leading in the Central, and Seattle in the West. Can we just keep it like that? That sounds like a good ending to me.
It is funny to look at the stats in the standings today because we normally complain about, hey, the AL East is such a strong powerhouse, and if we were in any other division, the Orioles would be doing better. And when you look at the standings, the AL East sucks.
Right now, so far. Yeah, I mean,
it's going to balance out. But let's have fun while we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's true. And this is, I mean, the Yankees are they have, I think, 11 guys on the injured list. And Boston is suffering from a serious World Series hangover. And so no one really saw that coming. But the Orioles are playing better than I ever would have imagined them to play.
Sure.
I thought this was going to be a dumpster fire from week 1.
Yes.
And it still might be a dumpster fire starting week 3. But the first 3 weeks of the season, overall, I've been extremely impressed. I'm surprised we won 7 games.
Right. There's been small fires, but it hasn't blown up the whole season yet. We've only seen little bits, and then they contain it, and the next day's fun again.
We just went up to Boston and split a 4-game series. Are you kidding me? I thought that was not possible at the beginning of the season with this roster.
Yep.
And Straley today was unbelievable. I mean, this guy was coming in with an ERA of 20. Literally 20. And he pitched a gem of a game. So who knows with this team? Yeah. This week we're coming to you via Skype. We hope the sound's working for everyone out there, boys and girls.
Not sure if it's working on a live stream. It's working in our headphones, and it's working on the recordings from what I can tell.
Yeah, so you can always download the podcast.
Right.
Because you subscribe and listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring up the technology of the show this time because I feel like we start each week with that. But then I did get a text message that just said sound ?
Yeah, there's a lot of no audio comments in the chat room right now.
So Yeah, so those people are just going to have to deal
down,
with it.
people.
You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going
Don't
to
be strawberries. Calm down.
I'm going to cut the stream,
Yeah.
and we're going to just record. We're going to record a show now,
Yeah.
and you can listen to it tomorrow, or you'll be hearing this tomorrow when you try to refresh a bunch of times.
Fine.
We'll figure it out next time.
Yeah.
Last minute change.
Yeah, last minute change due to me. I don't know the as now with 2 children, I don't know anymore what to do with children. There was that last night. There was that storm. You guys aware of this? There was a storm last night.
I heard somebody talking about it.
Yeah,
that affected you?
I lost power for a little bit.
There was like a tornado watch, like in our county.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so like I was debating. This was at like 3 a.m. and it was nasty. It was coming down, wind gushing, and I was like, at this point, do I wake up and do I get Silas and do I take him from upstairs sleeping and like do we go in a closet? And then I was like, that's gonna disturb him. And so, and I'm like the king of indecision. So I said, nah, I'm just going to go back to sleep.
Everything worked out okay.
Yeah, everything worked out okay. It could have not have worked out okay. But everything worked out okay.
That's good.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of any storms like that. Do you feel like your roof's going to blow off or something?
Yeah, it was as intense of a wind as I've ever experienced over here.
Wow.
Yeah, and rain. Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
All your trees held up?
Yeah, all the trees held up. I think all our trees over the past like 5 years have fallen down, so there's really not many left to fall.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, and then like with our other daughter, like she was throwing up, and again, like am I going to call the doctor and say, hey, listen, baby's spitting up milk? Like what? That's what babies do, and so
Right.
I didn't want to make a big scene about a baby spitting up milk, but the baby is spitting up a lot of milk.
Mm.
Right.
So what does one do here?
It's becoming a problem.
So
Yeah. I'm just the king of indecision with all these things.
So you go to the doctor.
Yeah, Emily took the baby to the doctor last night, but my go-to is always to do nothing, which probably is not the correct perspective.
That's why
right?
Emily makes that decision.
That's why I married Emily.
I'm the king of doing nothing as well. I had my one daughter broke her finger, and for 3 days we're like, it's fine. And then we finally take her to the doctor, and it's broken. And the other daughter fell off of a horse on Wednesday, and for 2 days we're like, your headaches were fine. The headache will go away. Turns out she has a concussion. So we're just like, I don't know. I'm still going to deny until a doctor tells me otherwise.
Yeah, because I don't want to be that parent who brings in their kid to the ER because he spit up some milk, right?
Seriously.
And they're like, what are you doing?
Right.
But I don't think that was the case there. But whatever. Anyway, that's why we're doing Skype, because guys are sick kids.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's get into some Oriole talk.
Right.
I want to go this direction.
Okay.
Some positives and negatives a few weeks in the season.
Okay.
I got some things that are not just positive, but things that have positively surprised me, and some things that negatively surprised me. Like for example, I'm going to tell you right now, like Chris Davis is not on my list because he hasn't surprised me. Like anyone who knows me knows, like I expect Chris Davis to get out every single time.
Yeah.
Right.
So his performance is not a surprise to me. So he didn't make my list.
Okay.
So positive things, and you guys can add if I'm missing anything here. Positive things that surprised me. Number one, Trey Mancini. This has been a huge bounce back so far start for him.
He's red hot.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a down year, and he's been one of the best offensive players in baseball, and he's carrying this offense.
Yeah, if he can sustain it, it's huge for the organization.
Yeah.
And they've got him in left field and right field. I don't even know why we talk about him being a first baseman anymore. He's out in the outfield so much.
Well, and I tell you what helps, because this is not talked about enough with Trey Mancini's outfield play. Also, can we talk about ball hogs too? You guys watch Cedric Mullins play center field? That kid is everywhere, and he's literally like
we lost Matt.
Runs over to left field and takes out Trey Mancini's glove.
We lost Matt as he praised Cedric Mullins, which is funny because Cedric Mullins is so bad this year. It's like last week when I was sitting here talking about how Chris Davis is an excellent defender. So,
do you guys have me? Do you guys have me now?
You're there. You're there.
Okay, you guys lost me like I dropped off the face of the earth, like I was no longer involved in this podcast.
I just figured it was an extended stutter.
No, but Cedric Mullins, we can get to his play at the plate. but the kid is everywhere in the outfield. And I think it makes Trey Mancini look better because that man only has to run 5 feet. I also saw, and I'm getting on a tangent here.
If you're going with ball hogs, the other guy is Jonathan Villar.
Yeah.
Who's doing the same thing, running out there, calling people off, taking charge.
Well, we realize who's playing right field, right? When Trey Mancini's out there, everyone's told, go and take the ball from him.
Yeah. Yep.
But something also helps, I think, Trey Mancini in the outfield. I saw, who's that guy from Orioles Hangout? Tony Pente. And I hate this, that every bad take on the Orioles, when it comes from him, I say everybody's saying this, but it's really just one dude saying this. But I saw him tweet out that the sabermetrics aren't working because the pitchers still suck, right? So all these sabermetric things aren't working because the pitchers still suck. I thought that is a stupid thing to say on so many levels. First of all, it's only been 3 weeks, right? They haven't had a chance to really implement all their stuff. Also, a lot of the sabermetrics involves player development and drafting and free agent signing and other stuff that doesn't show up on the field every day. But the other thing is, I think we have seen tangible sabermetric improvements in our defensive alignments. And so I think Trey Mancini has benefited too from kind of always being in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. But then what do you excuse that? If you want to, do you have more good or do you want to get to the bad with Cedric Mullins?
No, we're good.
Okay. Let's get to some good.
Cedric Mullins wasn't my good. Trey Mancini was my good. Cedric Mullins just happened to come in there in the conversation.
All right.
My next good, speaking of Cedric Mullins, the defense. We've turned the most double plays in all of baseball.
Yeah. Cedric Mullins been involved in all of them.
Only 2 people have stolen a base from us. Cedric Mullins is freaking everywhere in the outfield. Richie Martin's a stud at shortstop. Our catchers are they're pumping their fist.
I love the energy of our catchers.
Cup checks all the time.
They're passionate.
They're smashing the ground. Yeah. And they're throwing out base runners. And they're how many times is Sucre going to throw down to third base with the runner on third? He does it all the time. And so I like that. It's some excitement there. So you guys have to admit, looking at last year's team compared to this year's team. Sorry about that. The defense has drastically improved.
Oh, right? No doubt.
It's a big highlight of the season's defense.
It's been fun to watch, certainly, yes.
Yeah. All right. Next positive. John Means.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is the one, as far as starting pitchers go. Cashner has been pretty good, but he kind of is what we expected. Alex Cobb, whatever. We'll get to Dylan Bundy, my bad. Straley, we'll see where he's at. But John Means, I was not – David Hess has been kind of up and down. But John Means, I was not expecting him to be good, and he has been really good. His changeup is great. His fastball is solid. If he can get that curveball rocking and rolling, I think we could have a legitimate starting pitcher in John Means.
He started the game that Josh and I went to last Tuesday against Oakland, and they were calling him just to be the opener for that game, hoping he could maybe go 4 innings. And he pitched pretty well, but he gave up a lot of unearned runs. He was the victim of a bunch of little blue infield singles that were just advancing runners, and then just one base hit knocks in 3 of them.
And that was
but he looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked good and was just getting the worst luck on where the ball was landing and how the guys were fielding it and errors and all. He's got 13.2 innings under his belt at a 1.98 ERA.
Yeah, because all those runs were unearned. He was having Chris Davis bad luck.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and shut up. I think they're still stretching him out too. So I expect him to go, longer and longer in the games if he's able to pitch effectively.
Sure. He's only 25 years old.
Well, I think he turns 26 today or tomorrow, this week sometime.
The 24th.
Okay. Next week.
Yeah, I just happen to have the John Means page up. I don't have all this crap memorized about him.
He knows all the Orioles' birthdays.
John Allen Means.
The other guy.
Born in Kansas.
I have one more positive. And that's Dwight Smith Jr.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who had a great game today, double, home run, four RBIs. And so he's been a pleasant surprise. I expected nothing out of Dwight Smith Jr., just like most of the other Oriole players. But he's actually turned in, at least for 3 weeks, into something, which is exciting.
Sure. Yeah, you don't want to go with how did this team I guess it's because this team started with a whole bunch of people that no one knew. How did this kid, Hanser Alberto, suddenly become everyone's favorite player? I mean, he had like a good 2-3 games, and then all of a sudden it's like the only guy on the Orioles that like your average fan knows, and it doesn't make any sense.
It's weird because he's not terrible. He's pretty good, and he's fun to watch. He looks like he's enjoying himself playing the game.
Yeah.
So he has been a kind of a bright spot in the early parts of the season so far for me.
And he's got a great nickname.
What's that?
Radio.
Yeah. like the Cuba Gooding Jr. movie?
Exactly.
Oh
exactly. Haven't heard the backstory, but I just like Radio. That's his nickname.
Do you know the backstory?
No, I just know it reminds me of that movie.
Oh yeah, it's a different backstory than the movie.
Okay, that's good.
He stands behind. It's because when people take batting practice, he stands behind it and does like radio commentary on the batting practice.
All right, then never mind. He's my favorite player on the team. Why is that not mic'd up yet?
Yeah, the thing I like about him, you're right. They need to mic that up. I don't think he's a great baseball player, to be honest. I haven't been that impressed. But I do he looks a little bit unathletic. He doesn't look like the most athletic kid who ever walked on the baseball field.
Have you
but
seen
he plays like every position. He's at shortstop. He's at third base. He's at second base.
He pitched.
Infield. He pitched.
Oh, yeah, he did pitch. Yeah.
So impressive for a guy. Doesn't look like the most athletic guy in the world.
No. He automatically gets some bonus points with the fans because he pitched. Like, even if he pitched terrible, the fact that he pitched.
And he was throwing up 70 miles per hour. He was not even hitting 80. He was throwing up to 70 miles per hour, which is hilarious. That's his fastball.
Yeah, but you're right. There was a picture of him with Cedric Mullins and Trey Mancini, and he doesn't look like he belongs on the baseball team.
Yeah, but he plays all the infield positions. He's athletic. I've seen him make diving plays. He seems to be a pretty good player. I'm not sure if the bat will play. I really don't know if the bat will play. He's shown no power,
right?
And the batting average has gone down recently. So wait and see on Alberto. I'll say this: I wouldn't go out and buy a Hanser Alberto jersey quite yet.
Well, unless my name was Albert, then I'd be tempted.
I know a few Alberts.
Because then you could always just tape over the O if things go south.
Yeah. What numbers he wearing? 53 or something like that?
I don't know. I saw him wearing 42 today.
Oh, the stupid MVP app, MLB app, has updated everyone's number to 42.
Yeah, that's helpful.
That's so stupid. How am I supposed to look up his number if it says 42? I almost announced that he's wearing number 42 and caught myself.
Are you talking Jackie? Are you saying Jackie Robinson is dumb and we shouldn't honor him?
No, I'm saying the app showing everyone when I click on roster and want to look up facts about the people. It doesn't list all of their last names as Robinson for today. I get it. Everyone wore 42 today. That doesn't mean that's your roster number.
You brought up Dwight Smith Jr., though, to start that off. Josh, do you remember I was coming up with jingles for all the players in the team? I got two good ones so far, including Dwight Smith Jr. Bump, ba-dum, bump, 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 bump. You like that one, Matt?
So Matt, when we were at the game, Bert's sitting there trying to come up with jingles for every player that goes at bat, but it's all using the sounds from insurance agencies.
Well, I only got two, and the other one wasn't an insurance agent or agency. It was Rich Blyer. Yum. That's the only two I got so far.
He was struggling.
I'm adding to it.
That's good. I'm sure you could do something with.
It has to come naturally. I can't force it. The Dwight Smith Jr. and Rich Blyer, they both came to me naturally, so I'm sure there will be more as I'm inclined to television jingles. Rich Blyer, yum. That's it.
You know what? You got the whole season to.
I got a while. It's gonna be a long season, boys. Anything to keep me entertained.
At the end of the season, though, I wanted you to run down the whole roster with all your slogans.
I will. I already started a notes on my phone, similar to my Adam Jones question that will never go away. I've got notes to remind myself of all my jingles for Orioles players.
Some people come up with nicknames. Bert comes up with jingles for each player.
Dwight Smith Jr. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
That's Silas's favorite commercial. He always bumps with it. Loves it. So those are my positives. You guys mentioned Hanser Alberto. Did I miss any other positives?
I mean, you didn't want to go to Chris Davis, but it at least gave me something of interest to look for this first few weeks of the season. The fact that he had a streak of note occurring, and then finally to see it come to an end, and now he can just go back to being bad Chris Davis, who at least gets a hit every once in a while.
And I think it was a little encouraging to see Chris Davis get another hit today, so it's not like he's starting another ridiculous streak again. We hope not. I mean, the scary thing is he could start that at any point, but maybe the bad luck has ran out.
It's the kind of thing for me, like if the Orioles were supposed to be good this year, if we're competing for the American League East pennant, and Chris Davis is 0 for 60-something, we're booing the crap out of him.
Right.
We're very upset with it. Get him off the team. Get him out of the starting lineup. Whereas he was in the midst of that streak towards the end there where he was getting cheers and encouragement. Like people, I kind of wanted to see the streak keep going, but I also wanted to see it end. So for me, it was a positive either way. And it was cool to see him appreciate the cheers and have a sense of humor about it, asking for the ball after he got that hit and stuff like that. I don't know. It made the first few weeks of the season interesting, at least for me.
Yeah, I think he wants that ball because now he can go and do a whole speaking tour when he retires with that ball, talking about how when you're down, it sucks and all that. And
I don't know. He's probably made enough money. He doesn't have to do any speaking tours.
That is true. Now the Orioles' other streak ended today, right? The giving up a home run in every game.
Oh yeah.
I believe today we did not give one up, so that ended at 15.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, which is ironic because Straley's infamous for giving up home runs, but all right, good for him. So now on to my negatives.
Okay.
And these are things like I was not expecting, but they turned out to be true. One is, how bad has that bullpen been this year?
Yeah, because that's been our strength in the past, not starting pitching.
And I thought it might be kind of intriguing to see some of these starter arms move to the bullpen, like a Mike Wright Jr. But and it's not just one guy. Like Mike Wright Jr. has been bad. Miguel Castro's been bad. Dick Blyer, of course, with the injury or whatever, he's been bad.
Right.
Michael Givens hasn't been great. So it's just all just down the line as a whole. You thought maybe that would be somewhat of a strength, at least average, but we've been really bad at the bullpen. That's been disappointing and surprising.
Sure. And yeah, I guess it's also because it's guys like Richard Blyer, Michael Givens, Castro, guys who in the past year were good, and we thought they would take that next step.
Yeah, it's true, and guys we're counting on. Yeah, I don't know, guys you think. I don't know. You know Mike Wright Jr. is a failed starter, but he has such good stuff. You think he'll work on the bullpen.
Right.
Miguel Castro is throwing this 97-mile-per-hour sinker, yet somehow he hangs sliders every other pitch and gets crushed.
Yeah.
Arroyo, was a disaster. He was so much a disaster that we literally couldn't keep him for a week. A team that's trying to lose, we couldn't keep Arroyo because it's so bad for a week that we had to give him back and then trade for him or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's the ERA of the bullpen has been bad. Yeah, and even guys we called up like Josh Rogers hasn't been very good. Josh Lucas recently hasn't been very good.
Right.
Like I said, Givens has an ERA close to 5.
And those are things where even though the Orioles aren't going anywhere this year, you don't want that bullpen to be such a bad bullpen that it's affecting your starters to try to push it harder because they can't count on guys having their backs afterwards. And
yeah. I mean, you don't want to lose, but it almost crushes more when you lose it with that bad bullpen.
Right.
So that's the one thing. The other thing that I put on here was Dylan Bundy.
Yeah.
ERA of 8.76 in 3 games, 12 innings pitched. Just bad. 12 earned runs, given up. Listen to this. In 3 starts, 12 innings pitched, he's given up 6 home runs. He's averaging a home run every other inning. So just ugly stuff from
No, they're talking a lot with Dylan Bundy about not having an out pitch and how he gets in this like 2-strike count and then he tries to just throw the fastball, but he keeps throwing it right over the middle and they're just crushing it.
And it's not even fast, like 92 miles per hour. So it's not like he's throwing 97.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's really sad though because Dylan Bundy was supposed to be the guy, and we've held on to him for so long.
Yeah.
Waiting for him to be the guy, and now he's finally like healthy and all those injury stuff's behind him.
How much do you wish we traded him over Gausman?
Yeah, I mean, it's not how much you wish you traded Dylan Bundy 2 years ago, right? When you
yeah, sure.
He was supposed to be untouchable.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, everyone is touching him for the long ball. So that's been really kind of disappointing, and I don't know if Dylan Bundy will ever be an average starting pitcher. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's frustrating.
I think he's going to have every opportunity this year. So I think he starts tomorrow, actually. So we'll see how that goes. The other thing, and this is the last one, and this is maybe unfair because I was just looking at the stats, and it's not as bad as I thought. And that's the Orioles' offense. I thought the offense in general has been disappointing. Now, if you look at like ranks for teams, we rank number 21st in OBP, which is a little better than I thought. But I mean, part of it's Trey Mancini has a 400 OBP.
He's carrying the team on his back.
Yeah, and you look at guys like Jonathan Villar is off to a great start.
Right. I think Trey is like ranked number 2 under Trout in a lot of the offensive stats so far this season.
Yeah, it's possible. Like he leads the Orioles in all the categories: runs, hits, RBIs, home runs. So he leads in a bunch of the categories. But like if you look at Chris Davis, right? Just think about this for a second. Chris Davis has 4 hits. Cedric Mullins has 5.
Yeah, I know.
And Richie Martin only has 6. And
right.
Joey Rickard only has 7.
Now Joey Rickard has had the least at-bats out of all those guys.
Oh, no. He's had 40 at-bats.
Okay.
Chris Davis has had 45.
Okay. All right.
And Sucre, who's had even more at-bats than Joey Rickard, only has 8 hits. And Severino, playing backup catcher, right, still has only had 4 hits. Like, all those guys, we have, look, Ruiz, Severino, Sucre, Rickard, Martin, Mullins, Davis, all batting 200 or below. That's a lot of guys batting 200 or below.
Yeah. In fact, if you pull up, I just pulled up our top. Yeah, this can't be right. Our top 6 batting averages: Trey Mancini at 343, Villar at 300, Nunez at 293, Dwight Smith Jr. at 270, Ruiz at 2, and Mullins at 111.
Yeah. Yeah, they must be using the at-bats or whatever. I mean, Hanser Alberto's up there.
Right, because that's got to be based on the number at bats. And that's where Mullins, I think, stands out a lot to me. And I even put in our show notes, the only thing I added is Cedric Mullins sucks. Because we talked about on the preseason in our shows, we talked about how, like, the Orioles need Trey Mancini and Cedric Mullins to step up and be the face of this organization. And Cedric Mullins is off to a horrible start, and I really question, is Cedric Mullins the future center fielder here when we've got such a competition for outfield? Where does Cedric Mullins fall in line? He's got the speed for center field, but if he can't have the bat, at what point do we need to send him down and bring up a guy like Austin Hayes?
Well, you said Cedric Mullins only has 5 hits. 2 of them were those 2 triples he hit in the same game last Monday. So take away that 1 game, he's only got 3 hits. Okay.
And then take away Davis's 2 games, and he's got 0 hits.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's interesting. It's all coming into one little spot. Nobody is consistent. Nobody's spreading their
just Mancini and Villar. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I guess that's why we can have fun with this because there's no expectation this year. The expectation this year is to lose more than we win, end up in last place. And I think most people are not even expecting the team to be better than last year. A lot of people are expecting this team to be worse. So I think we can sit here and we can evaluate and complain. And I think it's fair to complain about what Cedric Mullins is doing on the field. And Richie Martin, I give a pass because he's a Rule 5 guy. He shouldn't even be up here. But it also doesn't matter yet.
I don't know, Josh. I don't know because I kind of would give the pass to Cedric Mullins too, because I don't think the only reason that Mullins is looked upon as being kind of the guy in center is because he was the first guy called up.
Right.
He was the closest to the majors.
Oh, I agree.
Never in like the prospect rankings was Mullins ahead of Hayes.
Okay.
Or these other outfielders. Like, he was never a high-ranked prospect. He was just the closest to the majors. And there was all the dramatic stuff with Adam Jones and the Cedric Mullins whole thing, like passing the torch.
Right. So there's no point in dragging him out longer if it's not going to work and we've got guys ready to go.
Well, the question is, and you're right, I've been saying this from Jump Street. If you want to win right now, Austin Hayes will help you win more than Cedric Mullins right now. But I don't think they're trying to do that right now. But I think you are trying to find out, is Cedric Mullins a fourth outfielder? Is he a guy you can have on the team? Can he hit enough to like sprinkle him in all the outfield positions to be kind of your backup fourth outfielder? Your Endy Chavez, your Alejandro Diaz.
Right. So you're going
that good.
You're going down the same path as you are with Chris Davis. As this year doesn't matter. If we can get a positive spin on this guy, he's got a good upside. We like his speed. We like him defensively.
Yeah, Josh, you tweeted out when Chris Davis got the hit. Now you're like, we need to start focusing on Cedric Mullins and why.
Because I think
that was one of the dumbest tweets I ever.
I think by this,
$161 million. Cedric Mullins playing for league minimum. But go ahead.
I don't care. It doesn't matter what they make when they're all on the field at the same time.
It's expectations, though.
But here's the problem. By the time we do this show next week, Mullins is going to have a smaller batting average than Chris Davis. Chris Davis is on the up while Mullins keeps going down. He had another 0-4 game today.
He was the only guy in the lineup to not get on base today. Fun fact.
Davis, even when he was sucking, he was getting walks. Mullins is not that guy. So I get that there's a price tag on one versus the other, but when you've only got 9 guys on the field, when you compare them to each other and compare them to other guys that can play their position, Rickards right now are better bringing more to the team than Mullins.
Oh, get out of here. Joey Rickards batting 175, all right? So don't talk to me about Joey Rickards.
That's higher than 111.
Yeah, but he's not as good defensively as Cedric Mullins is. I think you can get away with bad offensive play as long as you have great defense. And so I think if Cedric Mullins played outfield like Trey Mancini, I agree. But as long as he's playing great outfield, which he is, just like Richie Martin is terrible.
You realize that's the argument people used to use on you for Joey Rickard and Ryan Flaherty. And guys, that you would then get upset that these guys are on the field.
No, the only reason Ryan Flaherty was never great defensively, he could just play like 17 defensive positions. All right? And so, and I never would promote Joey Rickard or Ryan Flaherty as an everyday player. And ultimately, I would not say Cedric Mullins should be an everyday player. But I think you can, this is a good opportunity to find out if he can hit left-handed pitching and if he can be your kind of fourth outfielder as you wait for the real center fielder, which is, I don't know, McKenna or Hayes. Both those guys I think will be better outfielders than Cedric Mullins in the end.
Wasn't that the case with J.J. Hardy for all those years? His defense at shortstop was spectacular, but he was a subpar hitter the years he was with us.
Yeah.
But he still played every single night because we needed him at shortstop.
Yeah, and I think you can get away with that at 2 positions, right? I think you see that most often at shortstop and at catcher. It's rare to see a center fielder who also can't hit.
And isn't that also because those positions are kind of like also coaches on the field, where if you've got a catcher that can't hit, maybe he's handling the pitching well, and you've got the shortstop who's handling the infield and directing the infield well.
Well, yeah, and defensively involved in so many plays, right?
Sure.
As a catcher and as a shortstop. Yeah. So those, what is it? Did I cover them all?
You're good and you're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my things that has surprised me. I thought the offense would be a little better. And speaking of the offense, one of the things that's kind of surprised me is I thought honestly we would have more stolen bases at this point in the year. Villar has 3, Dwight Smith Jr. has 2, and Richie Martin has 1, and that's it. Now no one's stealing against us, but we're not stealing a ton of bases either. I mean, we got 6 total.
Right. We're
ranked number 19th in all the baseball. It's stealing bases.
We just talked about how Cedric Mullins has the great speed, but he's not getting on base. So if he has to actually get on base before he's going to steal any bases.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
The other positive with this team is doubles. We've seen a lot of doubles. In I think every game we've gotten a double almost. And a lot of that's been Villar and Mancini, but that's another positive is getting those extra bases. That might be what's cutting down on the stolen bases.
Yeah. I mean, this was I made that prediction, my bold prediction, what the Orioles would have more stolen bases than home runs. That's not looking very good so far. Orioles have 17 home runs and 6 stolen bases. That's not looking good so far. But I could not have predicted that Dwight Smith Jr., right, would have more home runs than stolen bases. He's not supposed to be a power hitter. He's got a stupid little pesky pole. That's how Cedric Holmes got his too. You just sneak it right down there.
Yeah.
Outrageous. I was looking at last year, his stats, Dwight Smith Jr., because where did this guy come from? And is he legitimately good or not?
Right.
And you look at his stats from last year, in 85 games in the minors last year, he ended up with just 6 home runs. And in 100 games the year before, he ended up with just 8 home runs. So he hasn't been a prolific power hitter at any point in his career. So it's, last year in AAA all year, he had 6. This year, and just playing, just to start, he's already got 4. So it's all right.
I just pulled up Dwight Smith Jr.'s profile on the MLB At Bat app. Do you guys know what number? You guys know when we're here? Yeah, number 42. That's what I was going to ask.
Sorry, beat you to the joke, my man.
Have you?
The setup was too long.
Yeah. Have you seen the Orioles?
I just downloaded the MLB At Bat app and opened up the application. I went to the Dwight Smith Jr. page, and what did I see? Josh, when is Dwight Smith Jr.'s birthday?
I don't know. I don't have it open. But I can tell you, are you guys concerned about the strikeout rate of this team?
No, we've always been a strikeout team. Is it worse than last year?
You know who has the most strikeouts?
No.
Chris Davis?
Chris Davis has 20. Do you know who's tied for second with 17?
Trey Mancini.
Trey Mancini and Richie Martin.
Oh, yeah.
No. Nope. We've always been a strikeout team. It doesn't shock me if we have a terrible strikeout rate, and nor does it disturb me.
But I tell you what, this year with worse players, our on-base percentage is higher than it was last year. So there might be something to this, putting an emphasis on getting on base.
Yeah, less long balls.
Somehow related to sabermetrics somehow. But our on-base percentage is a bit higher than it was last year, which is notable because I think we have worse players than we did last year.
Yeah, I think we do.
I would say so.
Yeah. So those are all good and interesting signs. Yeah. Can we look ahead at the schedule? Who we have in the future?
Yeah.
Coming week?
This week we've got 3 games in Tampa starting tomorrow, and they're clearly the team way out in front of the American League East. And then we come home with Minnesota and Chicago, the White Sox. So if they can take one of these games in Tampa, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I don't know what Tampa's trying to prove. I was looking at the MLB At Bat app that was.
Yeah, we've talked about it about 20 times today. Very familiar with it.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay has a starter for Tuesday. This Glasnow character, who's 3-0 with an ERA of .53. That sounds pretty ridiculous. 3-0 ERA of .53. But then Wednesday, Thursday, they got no starters listed. It's just 2 days away. What are they trying to hide over there?
It's probably just going to be an opener.
All right, well, I think this Glasgow guy, I think's an opener because he's 3-0, but he's only pitched 17 innings.
Yeah.
So what's that? Like 5? I guess that's 5-6 innings a game. Never mind, that makes sense.
Especially beginning of the season, people are still getting stretched out. Yeah, but his numbers have been ridiculous this year. But he wasn't a good pitcher last year, so we'll see. I don't know about this guy.
I don't know. Did Tampa play were they playing crappy teams at the beginning of the season? Do you know, why is Tampa so good? Because they weren't projected to be any good.
No, they were projected to be good.
Were they?
They've just been overshadowed by
the Yankees, Red Sox money.
Dreaded Yankees, Red Sox. The Rays always do this. They always have the best starting pitching in the AL East, and so they do with starting pitching.
Yeah, and then they trade it away.
And try to hit a couple dongs in there, yeah.
And I was pulling up a stat because you were talking about how the strikeout rate and things like that could be disappointing stat to look at. But something, and I've said that it's every year. We always strike out a lot. Another thing we always do every year, our pitching, no matter how good or bad our pitching is we walk an atrocious number of hitters. Our pitchers already have 63 walks, bases on balls they've given up. That's the second most in the American League, fifth most in all of baseball. Compared to the Tampa Bay Rays, where we're going to go tomorrow for the next 3 games, they've only walked 40 batters, 23 more walks our pitchers have given up in this short season so far than Tampa Bay. I'm so sick of walks. That's the biggest thing that will make me turn off a baseball game if I have to sit through back-to-back bases on balls. It's unreal how terrible we are at walking people. Drives me nuts. When that changes, I will be impressed. Until then, we're just a pitching staff that gives away free bases over and over and over again.
Yeah. Offensively, Tampa Bay, you're right. Their pitching staff doesn't walk people.
No.
Offensively, they steal a lot of bases. They have 16 steals, only been caught 1 time, which is impressive. So that might be an interesting matchup with our kind of catching situation where we throw everybody out or they're afraid to run on us. Only 2 people have stolen bases on us, and they've stolen 16, only been caught once. They also, they do the sabermetric thing. They strike out a lot, high on base percentage, and they hit home runs. So that's the kind of the Tampa Bay offense for you.
Anything else you were looking at on that schedule ahead of time, or are you just curious about this pitching we're going to see down in Tampa?
Yeah, no, I think it's a really kind of intriguing matchup. How many? We used to always joke that when you go to Tampa, you're going to go to an empty stadium.
Yeah.
Guys, you guys went to the game what on Tuesday night?
Yeah. It was 6,000 something.
Yeah, how did that feel? I've never been to a game with 6,000 people before.
It was awesome. No lines. Could just go up and get my food and go sit down.
It was chilly. It was quiet. You could yell at a player even from the upper deck, and they can probably hear you.
When they striked out, you could hear them curse. So it was fun.
Is there something embarrassing, though, about rooting for a team? We always joke Tampa because Tampa would never have anyone at their game.
Yeah, but they were good and still have no one.
Is there something embarrassing, though? No matter who you are, this is a baseball town. 6,000 people?
I think the embarrassment was last year. And this year we kind of just accepted it was going to be crap. What do you think, Bert?
It's still early, and it's only the second game I've been to this season, so it's still fun and fresh. Talk to me in August when it's an empty stadium and we're 30 games below 500.
Let's pull out the excuses.
That is going to be real sad.
Let's pull out the excuses. It was nighttime. It was a little dreary. Schools are still in session.
Yeah.
Well,
it was a Tuesday.
They had riots 2 years ago.
There's still people scared to go to the city.
Yeah.
But no, we went into this season knowing that the attendance is going to be crappy. Now I'm more curious.
Crappy.
No, we were 6,000 something, and now I'm more curious on how small that number can get.
Yeah.
Do we get a game without guys in the stadium and the gates open?
Well, you know what's cool though? Good for the Orioles. Even if they only have 2,000 people show up, it will never be the fewest attended, the least attended game.
Right.
It's true. The Orioles.
Yeah,
they can never meet the mark because they had 0.
Yep.
So and you can't beat 0. So there will always be at least one person in the stadium.
Right.
But right. This is early when it's still, like Bert said, it's still kind of exciting because it's still relatively new. A rainy day in, I don't know, at the end of May, what's that number look like?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know what, though? It was nice to be back in Section 336.
Yeah.
After spending years in 334, 336 is a much nicer section. We're shifting one over. It's better.
Yeah, I'm pumped. It's going to be my first game on Monday. We'll talk about switching the show's time. But my first game, we had tickets for Monday. That's going to be my first game of the year. So I'm pretty pumped to be at the stadium again, 2019.
And this past Tuesday, the row behind us won the Maryland Live Casino Lucky Row.
Oh, snap.
Which I can't wait.
Pizza Bowlies, get ready. I'm getting that free pizza. Let's go.
I'm excited for when they call a row and no one's sitting there.
Yeah. Well, don't you have to text it or something and get that?
No, they just call it random. But I think Bert and I figured out it's staged. Because the person with the coupons was there and in that section ready to go before it even came up on the Jumbotron.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So it's totally staged.
As soon as the road lit up, he was already there with the tickets in hand to give them out.
Oh, my.
You know what else is staged? I'm sick and tired of the Kiss Cam having staged Kiss Cams. It's got to be spontaneous.
Right. It did not come on Bert and I the entire time, and there were only 5,000 people in that stadium at the time.
Serious.
It's time to get with the 2000s. It's 2019.
I'm annoyed when it's the cup they put the camera on a couple who are already looking at the screen waiting for their turn, and then they see themselves because there's a delayed response, and then they kiss. That's because the cameraman went up to them and said, "Hey, I'm going to put you on the Kiss Cam. Get ready when you see your face up there."
Right.
That's not how the Kiss Cam is supposed to be done. It's supposed to be spontaneous.
Yeah, we all like the awkward, that person doesn't know they're on the Kiss Cam.
Yes. It's the only reason for it.
If that can last 5 seconds of awkwardness, that's gold.
Right. Nobody wants to see people who really like each other kiss each other. It's supposed to be people who aren't supposed to kiss each other kiss each other.
Right. We want you to accidentally get the brother and sister up on cam together. That's what we want.
More incest.
Or the coworkers. Forget the stage stuff.
Coworkers. I don't know if I go incest with the boys. Maybe two random people. But yeah, I agree. Get away from the couples, and I'm going to see two random. And it should be a requirement. No matter who, if you get on the Kiss Cam, you have to kiss the person next to you.
Yes, or you get kicked out of the stadium.
Or you get kicked out of the stadium.
Immediate ejection.
Just put it on the ticket.
Yeah.
You get your season tickets revoked.
Though all of it's not really, because I remember 4 years ago, we won, Josh, Dad, and I, maybe Bert. I don't remember you there, Bert. But we won
the
roller coaster tickets to Six Flags for doing the whole roller coaster thing. Being on the roller coaster. The Josh didn't really participate as well.
Well, and it was only a pair of tickets.
Okay. But anyway, that wasn't rigged because we were on the roller coaster cam, me and Pops, and then we won the tickets.
Yeah.
And we did the roller coaster really well.
Yeah.
They need to bring that back.
That
and the bubble cam.
Thankfully, there's no more of that and no more bubble cam.
And I didn't ask you, were there any new cool Jumbotron stuff?
No. No. I like they do the whole what's your least favorite song of all time or with players. That's fun. No, it's going to be interesting to see
Did they mix up the hot dog race at all?
No, it's just it was slightly different, but I'm so over this cartoon hot dog race. Give me real people running on the field. Whether they got the Freeze in Atlanta, they got the Anchorman running in San Diego, they got the real hot dogs running in Arizona, Presidents in DC. I want real mascots running. Forget the video. Same with Crab Shuffle. I want real Crab Shuffles out there. None of the stupid video.
I agree. I would like to see some live Crab Shuffle. I don't know about the live hot dogs.
Right. But it will be interesting to see what they do and how they make it look exciting on TV and on the Jumbotron with no fans in the stadium.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. They did that a few years ago. The Orioles did that for the players did for some kind of contest or draft. I forget why, but they had a crab race. Remember that?
Yeah, that was how they did their fantasy football draft.
Okay, order. Yeah, I would not be opposed to that being a thing where they do a crab race.
Right, we talked about this during the offseason. We want minor league baseball in Camden Yards.
Yeah, and
we've got the actual baseball. Now we need all the gimmicks of minor league baseball in Camden Yards.
Yeah, and we have great ideas, so you
Right.
should talk to us.
Which is why we're going to the Bay Sox for Night at the Yard this year for Father's Day. Get your tickets now, June 16th, $10 box seats. You can play catch on the field beforehand. You get a Bay Sox beer glass, and we get to throw out the first pitch. So that'll be fun and exciting and embarrassing. One of us will be fun. One of us will be exciting. The other will be embarrassing. So come join us. It's a Sunday afternoon. It'll be great weather, and it's got all the fun of minor league baseball. So bring your family. Tickets available on section 336.com. Right at the top, it says Father's Day with 336.
I got my tickets.
Ditto.
What do the Orioles right now sit at 7-10? If you guys are putting money on it, what do you think the chance they get back to 500 before the end of the season? At some point between now and September 30th. What are the chances they get back to 500? Give me a 0 to
Slim.
100% chance.
0 to 100%? 20%.
20%?
Yeah.
That's higher than I thought.
We're going to get back by the end of the month. And here's why. We have Tampa, so that might be 3 losses. But then we have Minnesota and Chicago, both in Baltimore. And
Minnesota, by the way, is leading the and they got – that's going to be fun because they got Scope and they got Cruz.
Yeah.
And they're leading the AL Central right now.
Right, but only by like 1 game more than the Orioles. But then after that,
Minnesota's 8-4. What are you talking about?
And we're 7-10.
Yeah.
Wait, how are they 8-4? They've only played 12 games?
Yeah, they don't play 12 games.
How's that
They've
work?
been snowed out a few times.
No, really.
I'm looking at their record. They're 8-4.
See, I just saw 8 wins and said, "Oh, okay. Well, we got 7 wins."
No, yeah, they're 8-4.
All right,
all the games are screwed up. I mean, Seattle's freaking 13-5. They've played 18 games.
Right, because they started in Japan.
I don't care where you start.
That's why.
The whole rest of this month is White Sox and Twins.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
After Tampa.
After we play the Twins and the White Sox, we then play the Twins and the White Sox.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And then we play Tampa again. Basically, starting tomorrow, we just go backwards. We go in one way, and then we go play the same teams again.
It's like a palindrome. No, it's not quite a palindrome.
No, it's not quite because Minnesota and Chicago flip-flop or we'd have Minnesota 3 and then 3 in Minnesota.
Right.
But if we're ever going to be back to 500, it's going to have to be during that Chicago and Minnesota series, because then we're back with Tampa, Boston, the Angels, Yankees, Cleveland, Yankees.
Yeah, all those teams
good baseball teams.
Right, exactly. So it's going to have to be by the end of the month.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm still excited that we're freaking 7th. We're in 2nd place in the AL East. I didn't even realize that till I opened my phone. That's great. Yankees at 6-9.
It's the little victories. It's the fact that when you get to see the angry tweets from Red Sox and Yankees fans that they lost to the cruddy Orioles again, like those are the things you appreciate.
Yeah, it's embarrassing for that fan base.
It is, and I can appreciate it.
And we were totally embarrassed in Boston last year. Like, I think we got like 3 wins total the entire season against Boston.
Yeah.
So to split a series in Boston this early is exciting. It's similar to like taking the series from New York a couple weeks ago.
And we took the series in Toronto a couple weeks ago. I don't think we won a single game in Toronto last year. Wasn't that true?
That sounds insane, but maybe.
I remember them saying that in the broadcast.
Was that Rick Dempsey talking, perhaps?
Yeah, it might have been Dempsey, so you take it for what it's worth.
If it was Dempsey would have lied and said we won every game. I mean, if you would have told me 17 games, we'd be in 2nd place in the AL East after 17 games, I'd say you're smoking the marijuana if you said that. So, shoot, I'll take it.
Why not?
Though this is going to be hard. Like, I've already seen people on Twitter and just kind of in general upset and saying, like, cut Mike Wright, cut Miguel Castro, like getting really frustrated at players who aren't performing. Josh is over there saying, cut Cedric Mullins.
No, I'm saying bring up some of these other guys.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can't deviate from the plan after 17 games, right? You got to be in for the long haul. You got to have big picture in mind. Like, you can't let 17 games trick you into thinking, and being in 2nd division trick you into thinking we need to call up our young studs here, right? Like, if the plan was to not bring up the young players at the beginning of the season, which it wasn't, or they would have started the season with the Orioles, you got to stick to that game plan, and you can't let 17 games fool you. But I tell you what, it is impressive how the Orioles have been playing. Do you guys and Hyde, like, give manager Hyde? Sorry, I said Hyde. Give manager Hyde a lot of credit for he said from Jump Street, right? This team is going to compete, and compete they had. I thought that was a pretty cool moment seeing him get ejected. I feel like you don't see a lot of good ejections nowadays with all the replay.
Well, and it was an ejection like defending his player because he thought the slide was inappropriate and went through and tried to take out his player. And that's kind of...
He came up and said, "Excuse me, guys, I thought that slide was inappropriate."
Well, no, he used language that we don't use on the podcast. But I think that's where we kind of got irritated with Buck sometimes, that he wouldn't go out there and argue like to defend his player. Where Brandon Hyde shows that he's got the back.
That's ridiculous. He loved his guys, Josh.
I know he loved his guys, but he didn't go out there arguing for them.
Sure he did. Well, if you looked at Hyde, and I saw someone did this thing on Twitter where they do the voiceover, guy reads lips on there. And Mike Hyde, manager Hyde, Brandon Hyde, his whole thing was, like, what's the rule? Like, if the rule is, if you slide past second base and into a defender, you're out. That's literally what he did. He slid through the base and hit the defender. So manager Hyde's whole thing was, what's the rule?
Right.
If that's the rule, then what are we doing? Because that's the rule. Like, that's the rule. So we have a rule, and the guy did it, and it's against the rules. So is it against the rules or not? Like, what's the rule? Because it's not like it was like spur of the moment. Like, they went to replay, and they said no. But that's the rule. So I think Hyde's deal was, if you have a rule, then enforce it. And I guess because it wasn't like egregious, because he didn't tackle the guy or something, they didn't call it. But then, is it a rule or not? Like, is it a rule if you slide past second base and hit the second baseman, then you're automatically out? If that's a rule, then the guy's out. But it was cool to see, because there's less opportunities for arguments when everything goes to replay. So I always enjoy, like, you don't have your Earl Weaver moments anymore.
Right.
So I always enjoy a good tossing. And the day before that, the pitching coach got the old toss. That was a long toss. That was impressive. That's what we call in baseball a long toss. When the guy on first base, the first base umpire, I don't know if you guys saw this, threw out the pitching coach across the diamond. That was a long toss. Just gave him the old get out, the old long toss.
Yeah, did we ever find out what that was about?
Apparently he was complaining about some check swings is what I read. So I don't know how true that is, but that was a weird thing where the first base umpire was going across a diamond with the long toss to throw out the pitching coach.
Right.
All right, guys. You went with the music? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'm getting with the music. It's clear we're out of stuff. We got to get better at this doing the podcast over Skype, so that to help with these talking over and the pauses.
We're not going to get into Tiger Talk.
Tiger Talk.
Tiger
Your mic's all out. Not even hearing you, Matt. But yeah, we all know Tiger Woods won. You can go listen to a golf podcast for that if you want to talk about Tiger Woods.
All right, fine. I don't know. Can you hear me with the music? You can close it out, guys.
I think I'll close it out because I think the music is burying you. So I think part of it might be, you know what I think it is? I think that Skype hears the music and assumes that means I'm talking. So it's blaring you guys out. So we'll see if I can remember to do this. Make sure to go onto Twitter and Facebook. Give us a follow. Just search Section 336 Show on Twitter and Section 336 on Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Section 336 in case his audio is not working. And Bert is at Bert Rohde, and I am at Josh Soroka. Go ahead and get your tickets for our Bay Sox game now. And go on over to iTunes and write a review, share the show. That helps out a lot. I think I got it all covered. Anything else to say, Matt? Guess not. We'll end it there. Go O's.
Thank you for listening to the Section 336 podcast. Please go to iTunes. iTunes and Facebook for all complaints or the occasional compliment. If I were you, I would not take any baseball advice from these guys. Josh and Matt were raised by an Orioles-obsessed father, and Bert fell in love with Don Mattingly. He has a thing for mustaches.